All right, Merry Christmas, everyone, and happy holidays. Just have a short information for us all. Many people have been trying to get our attention as regards the masterclass, but we've been delaying because we're trying to bring something more robust than what you usually find out there. 2020 has been a particularly difficult year. Businesses all over the world are at edge, and so are individual income. 2021 may see some lockdowns before it gets better. But we can prepare ourselves against the future and against future occurrences. For those of us who have gone through any of our classes and have kept through with, watching the videos, practicing, you should have basic knowledge of what trading is all about. And we felt we needed to step up a little. The year 2020, stock indices, cryptocurrency, and metals did much better than fiat currencies. That's in FX. FX had a really tough time this year. Profit margins slimmed down. Many currencies were in a range. Some were flip-flopping without any clear direction. It was abusing strategies, breaking them down, and it was just it was basically, a mirror of what was happening in the economy globally. We had the issue of Corona, then came the issue of US election, then came with the issue of US bombing somebody in Syria, and then came the issue of vaccine, and Brexit rose its head again. Several things just made the currency markets not to be stable. And crypto, on the other hand, was interesting. Cryptocurrencies, stock indices after the initial flash sales in March and April saw very wonderful gains, and also did metals, gold, silver, and the likes. So having had the basics of trading forex, and remember in our classes we mentioned that everything that has a chart, price against time, can be traded basically the same way, just that there are some slight twists and turns. We felt if we're going to have a master class, it shouldn't just be focused on forex alone. We should go deeper, and the master class is going to look into trading stock indices, crypto, and metal. If I go to a particular website called coinmarketcap.com, you could see cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin presently has smashed the $25,000 mark. As at March or thereabout this year, April, March, Bitcoin was sub $5,000, meaning that if you bought one Bitcoin at $5,000 in March, let's say 5,000 by Nigerian Naira, then it was around 360. So if you bought Bitcoin at 1.8, you should be having 9 million sitting in your account right about now. 9 million, and you didn't do anything. You don't need to do anything. Just have it in your wallet, and you would have had 9 million from 1.8 million sitting in your account. That's how well Bitcoin did. And believe me, Bitcoin isn't the only one that did that. Several cryptocurrencies did that this year. So also did gold. Gold rose massively this year. Silver did the same thing this year. Now, one advantage that cryptocurrencies, stock, and also metals have is that unlike in forex, where when you make a loss, you've basically lost your money, right? So if you take a trade on Euro GBP and you lose $20, your $20 is gone, basically. However, for these other items I mentioned, there are easier ways we can trade them. We can trade them using a broker, basically, where if you lose your money, it's also gone. But we can also buy them to hold. In cryptocurrency parlance, it is called hodling, right? So you can buy and hold. So let's say you bought Bitcoin, BTC, and you bought it 2 years ago when it was somewhere around 20,000. Now the value dropped to up to 4K. You would have lost value, but you are still holding on to your Bitcoin. Now, what you lost is value, but your Bitcoin is still there. All you're waiting for is for a time when it goes up, right, to something better, and then you can sell off your Bitcoin and have your money back. As against currencies as traded with brokers, MT4 and the likes, where when you lose, you've lost. It's basically the same thing in a sense that if you don't have an SL, you could basically hold on to the currencies forever, and any day they come up, then you go back to them. But we want to show an easier way to do this with the knowledge we have in trading. There are ways we could do this. So this year, some of us was able to cover up for some of the fluctuations in currencies by cryptocurrency, by trading cryptocurrency, trading stock indices. I'll give you a short on that again, right? And one other thing with cryptocurrencies is that they are highly volatile. So meaning that prices goes up, down, up, down. If you have the right mentality and say you get in at the mid-range, because of course we've learned now that we can't possibly spot the lows all of the time. But when we get in the mid-range, we could hold some coins, and when they go up, we sell them off. And there are other what they call stable coins, like that we can. Let's say you bought $2,000 worth of a cryptocurrency, and price goes in your favor. You sell it off and you put your money in a stable coin, so that gain itself, you don't hold it in a cryptocurrency. You hold it in a cryptocurrency that is a stable coin, like that the value will not fluctuate that much. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So here again, we have the coin market cap, right? And the way we're going to do this is we're going to focus on, let's say, the top 100 coins that are more stable. There are many ways you can trade cryptocurrencies. You could do the initial coin offerings, the ICOs. The challenge with that is that some of the coins can be, like nonsense. They call it shit coin in the industry. But that is also one easy way you can make a lot of money, because some coins can appreciate by over 1,000%. And I'm not exaggerating, meaning that you could buy a $1,000 coin, and in 6 months, you could have it multiplied by 1,000 and have $1 million. That's what cryptocurrency can do. But the challenge most times is you don't get to know which of the ICOs is going to, scale through and become profitable. Sometimes you buy some of these coins and they just don't do well. But the ones that do well, if you spread your eggs properly, will cover up for the ones that don't do well. But we're not going to go through that route. Maybe after the masterclass, some of us are still interested in learning that. We'll tell you how we do it, how you can get the $500 and just share $50 into 10 portfolios and see 5 or 6 may not do well, 4 may do well and cover up for those ones, because when they do well, most times they do at minimum 100%, not 100%, 100 times, 100 times, not 100%, 100 times. So let's say you invested $10 or $50, you could get 100 times, that's 5,000. That's what cryptocurrencies could do. It's dangerous to get into it without proper knowledge. But let's leave ICOs and talk about what we'll be giving out during the masterclass, basically. So here we are. If Corona continues to haunt the world, cryptocurrencies will continue to do well. So here you have XRP dropping by 48% in 7 days. So note, we have 24 hours growth, and here we have 7 days growth, right? So XRP dropped by this amount. Could this be a proper time to begin to hunt for reasons to buy? So if I go to the chart, part of things we'll be discussing in the masterclass, what I'm going to be watching out for. If it has dropped 48% in 7 days, it means it has potential of gaining 48% in 7 days or lesser. So imagine growing your account by 48%. You know what it takes to grow your account by 48% trading currencies, right? You'll be over leveraging. But here you can actually grow by 48%, right? And there are many. Bitcoin is the most capitalized And by capitalized, I mean, for instance, now here you have 100,000 million, and so we have $479 billion that has been put in Bitcoin. That's quite crazy, right? The next one is Ethereum. We have Tether, we have XRP. I was talking about some stable coins where you always want to put your currencies. One of them is USDC. Another one is USDT, right? This one's the value never really goes beyond 0.99. It just jumped to $1 back again, right? It has been pegged to $1. It is the theory is that unlike other cryptocurrencies, stable coins have, if there are if they say that the stable coins we have are $10 million, it simply means physically there is $10 million somewhere backing it up. So the value doesn't really go beyond $1. It could go a little bit below $1, like 0.999, 0.9 something, 0. Right? It's usually not much. So if I want to invest, for instance, some of us made some profits investing in USDC earlier in the year when the corona started. We converted some naira into dollars in crypto and now bought USDC. If I want to withdraw the funds now, I'm going to withdraw it in the dollar rate, right? And even for doing nothing, dollar moved from 360 to about 500. That person will be making about 140 naira per coin, per dollar, right? That's how massive. And if you think Bitcoin is the most expensive, 25, no, 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 no. There are some other ones that are even more expensive. Look at this. Rapcoin has been 25 for a while. There's one other one that is even beyond 25. Where is that particular coin? Right. So Yemfians has been 23 for a while. So here's another coin that grew by 54%. Here is one that grew by 32% in the last 7 days. This is a coin that did 20%, 27% in 24 hours. 27% in 24 hours. Here's one that did 16%. All these ones that are dropping are in the top 100. All we need to do is wait for them to drop significantly, wait for a specific place in the market for us to see them get our buy signals, initiate our buys. And sometimes we need to wait for 7 days, sometimes we need to wait for 4 days, sometimes we need to wait for 1 month. But when the push comes, it usually comes in leaps and bounds. You could make 20% in a day, you could make 20% in 1 week, and all of that, you could just harvest your profits and wait again, have your 10 or 50 coins you are watching out for. So what we're trying to do is also see if we can get a group where I'll be dropping some of those signals as for sure. Of course, it's going to be paid, right? Because you'll be getting value that can give you almost monthly income to the tune of 20, 30, 40%, depending on how the market moves. But that's the power of cryptocurrencies. Yeah, people run away from them because they feel you can easily lose. But since you guys know how to trade already, you understand that we can always wait for the right time. And so here you can see examples of that. I think I spotted one. I spotted GRT. I spotted GRT when it was here for this rise, right? I spotted GRT yesterday for this rise, and it played out. Unfortunately, today is Boxing Day. I spent the whole of the day sleeping, and I missed out on this. But that notwithstanding, if you've been trading, you know that when you miss out on one, another one will come. Here, look at this currency, this particular one. I've been waiting for this to drop. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be dropping now. I'll still wait for it. It has grown 87% in 7 days. So just imagine having $100 here, and in 7 days you have $187. You're not doing anything. You just buy and wait, buy and wait, buy and wait, right? I doubt if we would have caught the whole of the 87, because the strategy we're going to teach us is something that's not going to make us too greedy. Once we get to like 50 or 30% growth, we will harvest 50% of our earnings, and we will now break even on the remainder. And when it gets to a particular level again, we'll harvest another 25%. Then move our stop loss higher, trail the stop loss. Then we'll leave it, because sometimes these things can go 200%, right? And of course, we will not bother ourselves with the ones that are far down. There are some. If you go to number 42 now, yes, they're on coin market cap, but there are times you don't get to see, sorry, I'm still on page one, it's loading, right? Sometimes you don't get to see volume. So look, notice here, the market cap is 0, the volume is 0, the circulating supply is 0. When I come back to 1 or 2, then you begin to see the money flowing in, right? So we want to reduce our risk by spending more time on the stable, not on the stable coin, on the well-known coins, or no, the established coins. The established coins have lower growth rates, but for those of us who are already used to forex, what we call low here is outstanding when it comes to crypto. Yeah, so that's all with crypto. I want to take us to stock indices. All right, so in stock indices, I have more proficiency in the German 30 than anything US. So in the US, we have what we call the SPX. Let's start with the NAS 100 before we go to SPX 500. We have the NAS 100. It's more or less like the 100 top 100 companies in the US. Some people call it NASDAQ. Some people call it US 100. It is actually NAS 100. So you must have heard people say NASDAQ, right? So here is NASDAQ. I'll go to the daily time frame so you have a view of what I'm saying, right? So here, notice that line there. I bought exactly from that line, right? I bought exactly from that line and see how it went all the way to the top there. So, but here I want you to see something. I just want you to see something. I'll be preempting some of the things we'll be discussing in the class. I actually desire that every one of you actually become part of it. Okay, the daily time frame is even looking smaller because I wanted to show you something bigger. Let's go to the weekly time frame so you can see a wider range. Now, what can you see basically here, right? Without wasting our time, we can see that this thing is in a perpetual uptrend. Is in a perpetual uptrend, right? So you remember, even presently in the US, they're trying to give stimulus, and the guys in the US are complaining because you're giving not just 600, 1,000 plus, and you're giving the bulk of the funds to these bigger guys. The fact is this: the US, just like with Nigeria, when the banks were going down, the government aided them. When your industries die, the indices showing the health of the economy goes down, and no country will allow their big industries or companies to go down. In a place like US, for instance, one company is going down, another one that is better off is coming up, because this is NAS, one of the top 100 companies, right? So as one is going down, another one is coming up, and they are ensuring that they don't die because they generate the income, they generate the IGR, they generate the jobs and several other things. So our strategy here is going to be very simple, and I'll be explaining it properly in that. But just notice, if all you are doing with NASDAQ is buy, right? As far back as let's say, I think we have data here up to 2011. If your strategy is just to buy alone and you're not looking at selling, you would be in massive profits, right? Massive profit. So when this thing happened in March, one of our mentors told us, guys, just wait for the right time and buy. So all this drop happened because of Corona. People were shouting. There was a particular time they were actually stopping people from trading. They were because there's a law when it comes to stock indices and trading houses. When the value of some stocks drop by a certain percentage, you must pause trading. You have to pause trading. You have to stop people from buying or selling so that it won't crash the economy and the world, right? People buy, like you must have heard me say when you attended any of our training. People prices go up because of fear or greed, right? So if you are greedy, it goes up. When you are fearful, price begins to drop, right? Sentiment, basically. So imagine price drop by this amount and see where it is now. See where NAS is presently, ladies and gentlemen. So it is pretty simple. We know exactly what to watch out for. And I believe we'll do better. That doesn't mean we'll throw away currencies. Currencies has its flair, but I see a situation where many of you might not even want to trade currencies again. So that's NAS 100. Let's go to US 30. You see something similar in US 30, top 30 company on Wall Street. It's called Dow Jones, right? You see people calling it US 30, Dow Jones, whatever the name you want to call it. Here we are, same thing. This was what happened during the Corona, and price has eclipsed the drop in Corona, meaning that if you bought at the beginning of the year and you saw all this drop, all you needed to do is hold on, and we'll show you how you can do that, because you'll be buying, you won't be buying in such a way that your account will get blown, right? You buy it and hold the value, don't hold it. The value will come back up. It's a perpetual uptrend, guys. It's a perpetual uptrend. It's a perpetual uptrend. Of course, if you want to trade it using brokers, we'll have a trigger to help us to get out with some losses or some minor damages to our account. Then we'll have some triggers to help us come in at this particular point. It's a major uptrend, guys. It's a perpetual one. Or let's look at another one. Let's look at the XPX 500. XPX 500. That's another stock indices again, right? Some brokers have it at US 500. Now, exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing, right? Exactly the same thing that happened when it came to that low. See, it has eclipsed the drop. This drop happened during Corona, and it has eclipsed it. And this happens virtually every year. Now, if you go the last 20 years in some of these things, in the last 20 years, there are only like 4 years that the closing price at the end of the year was lower than the opening price in that same year. It's a perpetual uptrend, guys. It's a perpetual uptrend, meaning all we need to wait for is at the beginning of the year, we wait for certain things to happen and we get in and we hold it because we know it must go beyond that. Right, so I'll be giving us the breakdown how we can do this and add it to crypto. So we can have this as long term and we have crypto as short term where we are rolling over. So guys, as you prepare for school fees and prepare for all of that, please, if you're working in a place where they pay you upfront, don't spend all the money. Let's see how we can do this together. We're going to have a dedicated Telegram group. It's not going to be the general house, a dedicated Telegram group for those of us that will be coming for the masterclass, and we'll see how we're dropping some of these things. But I'm excited about this. I didn't want this video to get too long, and it's difficult for teachers to talk, within a short frame of time. I'd wanted us to see currencies too. Metals, I'll just show gold, and I must call it a wrap, XAU USD. All right, so let's see metals, gold, XAU USD. Okay, let's use Oanda for that. Right, so here again is gold, but let's look at what gold did this year. Right, again, see that. Right, so if we concentrate on only buys, one thing you need to know is just imagine if you bought gold, or you waited 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you had a whatever carat gold and you bought it and you've been keeping it. Imagine how much it will cost in the market right now. You don't get broke storing gold. You may lose value. And that's called, we don't even call it depreciation. You just lose value. But gold is a perpetual. By the way, before, what brought about the present banks is that every fiat currency is backed up by gold, right? Not what is happening now in the States, where over 22% of the dollar in circulation was printed in the year 2020. So here where these red lines were where I got in for the buy on gold. If you want to see how this plays out, let's go down to lower time frames so you can see. Yeah, so boom at the breakout here, boom at this breakout, right? And that's massive. So imagine if you came in and look, let's not turn this to the masterclass, but we'll be discussing that. And of course, the last thing we'll be doing in the masterclass is I'll be discussing a daily trading strategy that can be suitable for busy professionals for currencies, right? There's a daily trading strategy that helps us not to try to catch the tops and the bottom. It's going to be somehow similar to what we're doing now. We'll just take our position somewhere and we know that we have high assurance that price is going to go up. If it goes down against us for like 2 or 3 days, we're not in a hurry to close out completely because we would have calculated our risk. And that way we can have like a 2%, a 3%, a 1% growth per week. You discover that if you have that and you have cryptocurrencies going with you that can give you 25% in 1 week, you'll be okay. Yeah, we'll have a 1%. So we're not planning to make 20%, 100% in a week with currencies until they stabilize. For instance, GBP, I don't know, one of my lovely pairs, yet I don't know I'm going to trade GBP next year. With Brexit happening, Is Great British Pound going to be strong? Are we going to be having those 50, 100 pips like we used to? I mean, or now that they've left the EU, are they just going to be just one currency like the franc, or will something happen where we don't know? So guys, the masterclass will be coming up between the second and the last week in January. There's still a lot of things we need to discuss to arrive at that. Many people are members from Enugu, some are members from Abuja and the likes, and we have some in Lagos, Ogun. So we would have wanted to have a gathering, we can see each other face to face and have this discussion. But with what is happening with Corona again and the distance, we're yet to know how we're going to do this. How we want to run it, we also determine the fees that we're going to have. If we're going to have a sit-down type of engagement, of course, the fees might have to include brunch, and some other forms of feeding. If it's going to be online, well, the admins will agree on that. But I'm excited to show you what I've done and what you guys can also do. Is a world of opportunities. For those of you who haven't given up, remember we mentioned that several people give up on the way, but those who stay long enough, we will see bigger things, right? I mentioned the last thing, so here's another last thing again. We're also going to introduce to you guys how you can easily get funded. So if you trust your strategy, you've been doing well. I know some of us that attended this program, some of you have chatted me personally. At least I know somebody who laid this foundation and left paid job because where he was working was earning a mega salary, and he's left and now he's trading for people and making money. I have somebody who grew $5,000 to $65,000 within months, right? So some of you are doing pretty well. We mentioned at the beginning, but some of you are going to catch up slowly, but don't give up, right? Don't give up. We're there. I'm not happy that in the Telegram group, people are no longer dropping charts. It's like everybody just went away and perhaps went to join some other things. And we cautioned that if you stray away, you most likely get lost. And I won't be surprised if many people here are lost now. You've learned so many strategies and now you are confused. We mentioned it, but I guess things that come cheap, people don't really appreciate it. Some of you I know have gone to pay for things 200, 2,000. Some of you have paid for other courses, and what they're teaching you is not too different, right? Let's keep in touch. We'll be dropping more info for us all. Yes, again, this is Bishop Raj here, and I'm hoping that we'll have a good time together in January. God bless you all.